Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our startup pitch here in the Bauma Forum. In our morning session, we talked about 3D printing as one of the disruptive construction technologies, which will take us to our aims in the next years. We talked in the morning about full wall printing, monolithic printing, and contour printing. And now we will have a presentation held by Türk about Shotcrete 3D printing. Alex.
Thank you very much. Welcome, everyone. I will give you a perspective on Shotcrete 3D printing, automation, and sustainability for precast elements. But when I prepared for this talk, I thought, okay, I could also label it why I worry about precast construction. So who am I? My name is Türk. I'm CEO and one of the 4 founders of Aeditive. We are a startup. We set up the company back in 2019, so we're 3 years old. We're based in Hamburg, here in Germany. Current team size is roughly 21, 22 people as of today. And we are a technology provider to the precast industry. So why do I worry about precast? Well, just looking at numbers, as of today, 60% of German precast companies or construction companies have to cap their order books. So they can't produce everything that is demanded from them. And that's, of course, because they can't find the workforce, the labor, to actually produce what is needed by our economy. Moreover, construction sites today account for 40% of all fatal accidents, workplace-related fatal accidents in Germany. So it's not the safest job to work in. And looking at it from a sustainability angle, construction, and particularly the manufacturing of cement, is responsible for 8% of global CO2 emissions. So I would say it's an industry quite to worry about. Now, of course, as a startup, I mean, you set yourself big goals and want to solve big challenges. And we came up with this solution to both problems, shortage of labor and sustainability. Let's take a look at our movie. Yeah, and KUKA has not only been a supplier of ours, or is not only a supplier of ours, but also sponsored this video. So big thank you to KUKA. So what does our solution look like? So we've created this printer, this automation solution for precast, with ultimately the objective to create the highest degree of automation possible in this industry. This printer outputs ready-to-use elements which you can ship to the construction site and install on site, up to dimensions of 11 by 4 by 4 meters. So that's literally the maximum size you can transport on a truck in Europe without special permissions. We include rebar, so steel reinforcement in these elements, as well as other built-in parts. And we can create a variety of surface qualities as is required by our customers. These printers can be deployed flexibly, so we can use them both in a factory setting, in a precast plant, and at the same time we can use them on a construction site. The process, as you've seen in the video, is entirely formwork free. So this very manual labor intense process of creating formwork from wooden panels and removing it after the process is entirely replaced by this 3D printing process. And we built on proven technology. Shotcrete has been around for decades in the construction of tunnels. And there's a regulatory framework for Shotcrete, which allows us to print elements and bring them to market with no special permission needed. And finally, we work with locally available raw materials. So we do not request our customers, the users of this technology, to buy expensive material from us. They can source their cement, sand, and aggregates from their existing local suppliers. And that makes this process more ecological and more economical at the same time. So why would a precast company select this technology? I mean, first of all, because it increases their labor productivity by a factor of 5. So if you have one worker in your factory, this worker in the future can output 5 times more concrete volume of concrete compared to today. We can reduce the consumption of concrete and thus CO2 emissions by 30% by structurally optimizing elements, which would be cost prohibitive in a formwork-based production paradigm. We are up to 20 times faster because you don't need to create the formwork up front. You can just start printing the element right away. And we focus and emphasize on workplace safety, so we erase all the high-risk activities that you have in today's concrete construction. So what are potential areas of application? I mean, we look at load-bearing and non-load-bearing elements. For example, in infrastructure construction. So we look at bridge elements, as you can see up here. We look at semi-finished parts, which are then being completed in a more traditional concrete casting process. And we look at ultra thin and weight optimized elements, as you can see here. Facade elements would be a great example of this use case category as well. Yeah, and where do we stand as a company after 3 years? Just this year, just in August, we put the first printer in a production environment. So one of our customers launched this printer. The company is named Glatter Star Walls. It's a big German precast construction company located south of Stuttgart. And they have, since August, operated this printer day in and day out and are producing these ultra-thin elements. And as you can see, they've been quite productive so far, so they even had to stack these elements left and right of the printer before they hand them over to storage. The printer can be operated by 1.5 people, so you will have an operator and you will have another person supporting the operator. So it's really a labor efficient and very safe workplace environment for people to work in. And I hope by doing that, and then by taking this technology on the construction site in the future and into other areas of application, that we are in a good position to help solve both the shortage of skilled labor and the sustainability challenges we are facing in the concrete construction industry as of today. Thank you very much. We have a small booth over there, so if you want to come by, ask questions, you're invited. And looking at the red timer here, I'll stop talking. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much,